I'm wondering if you were ever forced to have an abortion while you were in a mental institution. If you were, would you please consider sharing your story in the comments section below the video? I think your story would be very important for the people of the United States to know. Well, how did this question come about? My YouTube channel is all about medical corruption, and I look at it from many different ways, and I'm tending to cluster some topics together. And a frequent topic of conversation dealing with medical corruption and constitutional medical freedoms is the subject of psychiatry and psychology, especially when those are forced upon a person. And recently, I happened to be reading a book where a man recounted that his wife had been in a mental institution and she had been repeatedly raped, and she was then put under, and when she came to, she realized that she had been forced to have an abortion. From the ncd.gov website and from numerous other sources, I'm guessing that there are about 1,000 rapes a day in our mental institutions. Could be a little higher, could be a little lower, but I'm going with about 1,000 rapes a day. And I'm guessing that most of these rapes are going to be penile to vaginal contact. And I'm guessing that most of the time condoms are not handed out in anticipation of these rapes. And unless women are forcefully sterilized, or unless they're somehow taking birth control or something, I'm going to assume that they are able to be impregnated. And with a rape statistic that high, it would seem that there would be some pregnancies. And I'm wondering what happens to those babies. I don't know if people are just become pregnant and then are suddenly released to make their own way in the world, or if those babies come to term and are given out for adoption while the mother is still incarcerated. I haven't noticed mention of adoptions coming out of mental institutions, but I guess it could be happening. But I tend to wonder because I know that there is, I think, in my opinion, a great deal of not only rape, but even many more thousands of assaults and many, many mysterious deaths. I know that years ago, when psychiatrists were willing to answer this question, about 90% of them were atheists. Not to say that atheists don't have a problem with abortion, but I think, generally speaking, probably atheists might not have as much problem with abortion as devout believers. And I certainly know there's a lot of medical experimentation going on in mental institutions. After all, you can't say no. So I don't think there's a particular amount of respect for the sanctity of anyone's body. We know there are a lot of cavity searches and going to the bathroom in a guard's presence, taking a shower in the presence of others, co-ed situations where I've read women have been strapped down, spread eagled, their hospital gown bunched up around their waist, and men just walk back and forth looking at their private parts. So I don't think there's a lot of respect for the person there sometimes. And that would seem to be me to be the perfect setting for lack of respect for a fetus, also. So that's how I came to want to know the answer to that question, because I think it's exceedingly important. It's a big part of the question of possible abuse and possible lack of constitutional freedoms. It's obviously a very sensitive topic, but I think it's something that the American people would be very interested to hear. So I'm hoping that some of you, if this has happened to you, would be brave enough to share. My name is Sandra Denise Ware. I'm one woman with one vote and one voice, and I'm trying to speak loudly enough to be heard. Thank you.